Before Roald Dahl found fame as a beloved children's author, he was an ace fighter pilot in the Royal Air Force during World War II, making him one of the very few children's authors to have ever taken human lives. After a plane crash nearly took his life in 1941, he was recruited as an undercover agent for the British Security Coordination, or BSC, a covert espionage network established in 1940 by the MI6 Secret Intelligence Service. Their primary goal was to persuade Americans to support and join the war against Germany and its allies, which they achieved through a sophisticated propaganda network. One of their tactics was to create fake news stories and disguise the origins before disseminating them to the American public through newspapers and radio broadcasting. Although many of their activities were illegal, they were able to operate a 1,000-man operation out of Rockefeller Center in New York City with the support of both President Franklin Roosevelt and the Office of Strategic Services, which was the precursor to the CIA. Roald Dahl's writing career perfectly coincides with his recruitment into the BSC. His first novel, The Gremlins, was published in 1943 and was so successful that the film rights were purchased by Walt Disney. He became a celebrity almost overnight and found himself rubbing shoulders with some of the most powerful people in the world, even being invited to the White House to dine with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. Dahl's immediate success provided him with a perfect cover. Who would suspect a children's novelist and poet of being a high-level government spy? He has stated that his job was to help Churchill, quote, get on with FDR and tell Winston what was in the old boy's mind. And it seems that talented writers make good agents for propaganda operations. Dahl is known to have worked with the likes of Ernest Hemingway, who fought in World War I and set up his own anti-Nazi counterintelligence operation during World War II. Dahl also trained at the same secret Camp X as Ian Fleming, another BSC member. The two maintained a long friendship, with Dahl later adapting Fleming's novel You Only Live Twice into the screenplay for the 1967 James Bond movie. Roald Dahl's rather unpleasant childhood likely contributed to many of the recurring themes in his stories. He lost both his older sister and his father before being sent off to boarding school at age 9, where he describes frequently being punished by caning to the point of bleeding. Although most of his children's stories contain dark and macabre elements, with the helpless young protagonist having to face all kinds of cruel grown-ups and unpleasant situations, he also wrote adult-oriented short stories and books that took his dark sense of humor even further. Some of his earliest publications appeared in Playboy magazine, but it was his book My Uncle Oswald that revealed one of the ways in which he apparently hid highly inappropriate details in his material intended for children. It turns out that the snozberry-flavored wallpaper that Willy Wonka had Charlie and the other children licking in his chocolate factory was actually a code word for male private parts. But then again, are we really surprised?